graduate from high school, if you're thinking about it that early, okay, where you go to college and a couple times a year you go to a retreat, you go to a couple workshops. You can, if you choose, work with the brothers for the summer. Once you graduate from college, we have a house of studies in Philadelphia. And if you haven't taken theology in college, then you study theology for 2 years and teach maybe 1 or 2 classes in one of the high schools that the brothers have in Philadelphia. After that, you go out teaching, all right, in the school and living in a brother's community, any place in the province, and you do that for 2 years. All right. After that, you do, if you get approved all the way, you do what we call the novitiate year. You have a year off to study theology, to study spirituality, and to study about St. LaSalle. And once that's finished, at the beginning of that year, you get the habit. You know, when I wear the habit every once in a while, that's when you get it. You get that, and you get the rosary, and you get the New Testament, and you get what they call a profession crucifix, all right, which is a good-sized crucifix, which I don't wear publicly. After you finish your novitiate, you take your first vows, okay? And the brother can renew vows up until 8 years. So every year he renews his vows. After 5 years, you can say, you can make final vows, which means I'm doing this for the rest of my life. You know, so some people do it in 5 years, some people do it in 8. But during that time, you're assigned.
Let me come back.
Huh? Is she here yet?
No.
Okay. I'm sorry, you're on video. You're assigned to a school, and you teach and live in community with the brothers. Okay. And that's what you do for the rest of your life in different places.
So what would like an everyday kind of thing be for you? Like, what do you do every day that involves brotherhood?
Well, it's working with you people. Okay, it's kind of like being the people I get in contact with. It's kind of like the role of being their big brother. You know, Kairos is part of that. You know, all the other things I do. But a brother's vocation is to work with young people. You know, and help them to grow and to find, you know, Christian young men and women.
And do you feel like you missed out on marriage because of that?
No. And the reason I say no is I'm still in contact with students that I taught back in the 70s. And I've been in their wedding parties. I'm godfather to some of their children. Okay, so there's probably about 15, 20. And they've become like my adopted kids, let's put it that way. So I kind of have not my own personal family, but an extended family. So yeah, after 44 years as a brother, I don't regret it. I've traveled all over the world. Well, not over the world, Europe and all over this country. I've lived in France. I lived in Rome, you know. There's not too many places in this country I haven't seen. I've been to Mexico. So I've gotten a good education with the brothers. And I've been running a school since 2000. Are you guys born yet?
Yeah.
How old? A year old?
Yeah.
I've been in charge of a school. I joined the brothers to teach because I love teaching. And I first taught middle school. I taught 7th and 8th grade for about 8 years. And then I went to high school and taught religion. Then I became a campus minister. Then I got a master's degree in guidance. I was 13 years in Brooklyn. Okay. And then I went up to Rhode Island, and for the next 8 years I worked for the brothers. All right, I wasn't in the school. I was working directly for the brothers and with the brothers. And then when I finished that, I went back to school, went back to Boston College, got my second master's. All right. And that's when I became a dean of students, which I talked about for those of you on Kairos, you know. I did that for 5 years, and then I took over a school in Rhode Island for 8 years, and then was president of Trinity Catholic in Ocala before I came here for 3 years. And this is my 6th year. So I'm getting to be an old man.
Well, thank you.
That enough? Is that going to help your project?
Yes.